And now let me just start with the second part. So now I'll be talking about view transitions, and let's just first Google search everything. In the previous, you definitely saw this particular Google Earth thing, and all of this is what I did with the Go Web Store. So all of this is like a playlist or a series for the Go Web Store and how I build things on top of it, and using something like badging API and other APIs. If I just install the PWA here, yeah, you can see that it animates, right? There is a transition. There is a very good transition that could have been done by other means, but it is being done using something called view transitions. And some of you may not even heard what is a view transition, so I will just Google what you can actually know about view transitions before I jump on to what I am going to show. So the one we are doing is an MPA, right? So this is multi-page application, and there is an SPA1 too, which is like start view transition. There is a function that allows you to do it. The Mozilla Web Docs is the best way to effectively learn it, and maybe you can also contribute to it if you want. Then you can just feel free to reach out to me. I am contributing currently to this very initiative by Mozilla. And yeah, this particular section by Bramus is really good, and the way that he has added some transitions. The way you have to do it is to have a view transition name that can actually be added to both the pages, and that view transition name is where the vendor or the particular browser will take snapshots, create some pseudo elements, and allow it to smoothly translate like a smart animate thing that it is doing, which is very stunning. So but how to do it the right way? So I saw that there weren't a lot of there was one very good video by not video but GitHub repository by Tyler Go, and let's just see if I can find it. Yeah, so it is this view transition sandbox, and it has a very good animation thing, and I will just use this. And yeah, this is good, as you can see. And this is what or where we take our inspiration from. So let's just do one thing. I will open up the Go Web Store here, and I will just go live, obviously, and I will open it up on, and I will open the index page. Yeah, so this is a simple vanilla web components based application that uses many MJS or modular JS files, and it is loaded up with a type module script that is importing all of these JS thing. And I'm okay if you are not aware of modules, that's not what we're discussing here. We can have a separate video on that. The thing that I want to discuss, yeah, so you can see if I press the back button, it has an animation on the very good PWA. We can see that this animation, and yeah, sometimes it doesn't load, so it does not smartly animate, but that is not a very big issue. Is I already recorded a video where I think this would be better, because I made a video showcasing that it works sometimes, yeah, and sometimes it doesn't. And I made this like yesterday, just seeing that it is like a hit and miss, and I don't want it to be a hit and miss. So this is why later in the very next video I'll be talking about how you can make certain issues on Chromium or other vendors to showcase them. Yeah, there might be a problem, or there might be a use case, there might be a bug, and what gave me the inspiration to do all those kind of things, because as a UXT and it is different, and as someone who is maintaining or helping the vendors, that is little different. So yeah, hope that makes sense. So where were we were talking about view transitions. Yeah, let's get this effect going, and for that I will delete this. I will remove this. I don't need a lot of things running right now. I do need my OBS running, definitely. I don't need this very last video that you saw, that was very interesting. Yeah, this can go away. this can get deleted, this can go away, this can go away, and we are back to business with the Go Web Store. I have these two things called VT app CSS and VT index CSS, and VT stands for view transitions. I will have both of them here, and there might be something called navigation auto that I have added. I've added it here only. So this and this are the only CSS files that are being used to create this beautiful back and forth effect. And there is a very good thing that you need to understand how to do it. It is like uh, how this view transition is working and how this is coming into this very particular effect. For that very reason, I am going to just I would say delete these, and just so that it doesn't get lost somewhere, I will be just making a temp.txt where I can just refer in case I would need, but I'm sure that this is, yeah. So I have just copied it for the two files, and because this view transition creates this effect, I think it will still keep running. That's the reason, because it is caching all those pseudo elements that it has. For that reason, I'm going to go and I already have it installed. Why is it telling that I don't have it installed? Okay, doesn't matter. I think I will still delete any instance that has the previous animations running in them. I will delete this. I will go right ahead. I think if I delete every browsing data that I have, I could have just deleted it specifically in the grouped history for this page, but yeah, now the animations are gone. There is literally no animations right now, and the first thing that you want to do is add the view transitions at rule, and set the navigation, because you're navigating navigation to auto. And this index.css is on the index.html file. It is added somewhere here, and sure, somewhere here, yeah, vt index. And this particular, and I will just write it again, @view transitions, and this particular app.css is added to this app.html, and there are just two HTML files here, and both of them have their own VT or view transitions file to show how the transition would go on if there were any, and set the navigation to auto. And I think it was view transition, not transitions. Yeah, get the semantics right. Navigation to auto. AUTO. Yeah. So this is the very first thing to trigger view transitions if it is supported, and these applications made with view transition are progressively enhanced. What I mean is that if there is no view transition, then it will not be making those transitions. If there is some transition that it is supporting, then it will be able to make it. So what's the next thing? The next thing is to make your own keyframes. So the animations, as you were able to see, I will just be referring to this particular thing, is a slide to right animation, and just removing this index. This is saying translate or from 0 to 100 VW. It means just go in the X direction 100 viewport and just dismiss it here. That's the animation, and where we are applying this animation, and there is one more thing we are doing is, I will just copy this, view transition old and the view transition new, which means the older and the newer pages, as we are going from index to app, the pages that will be changing from old to new would be like, if the old page was app.css, this app.html, and we go back, and this is the new page, the index dot, that is how it is doing. And the mixed blend mode by default for these view transition is multiply, and we are changing it to mixed blend mode normal. This is something to avoid any kind of mixed blend mode that we do not want in our particular case. And the other animation is slide from right, and I'll be copying these right now. I'll be copying the whole thing at the moment, and then I will just showcase how it will look like. Because more or less the only thing that we are doing is adding something like, what is my uh, view transition old pseudo element for the root, and what animation does it have? Does it have no animation? And what is my view transition new pseudo element? By the way, these two dots, so I'm calling it a pseudo element. If it was a single, I would have called it a pseudo class. And what is the animation here? So like 0.3 seconds is, and is it slide to right, something like that. This is the slide to right. Yeah. And similarly, what is the view transition old and the view transition new for this? And I will be just setting what is my state, and hold on, I'll just see from here if I missed something. So this is the old and new view transition. I'll just copying this, and first I want to see the effect, if it is giving that particular effect that you want. Yeah, so as you can see, it is going back here. But how? I will just delete this reference right now. I think it was never needed, and I think that we have more or less copied everything from there already. So this is the first thing why we are doing this, to remove mix blend mode of multiply. And this is the old root and this is the new root, and we are animating it to slide to right. And I will just be slowing it down here. I will be animating both the old and new. I'm doing this to showcase something that how I learned it, and I will be just making this particular thing. I could have removed this ease. It will become linear. Yeah. And here too I will be first writing the name the way that it should be, the animation name first and then the time. And here I will be it already has it correctly, and slide from right. So what I am saying it is, if I am making a page transition from index to something, then the old and new pages both will translate from 0 to 100. And just to showcase it with something like opacity, and this is just for demonstration that you could see and then understand. Opacity 0 to 1. So both the pages in both the cases should be sliding left and right. And I will just remove any previous pseudo elements by clearing my history. This is like the fastest way that I could remove any previous animation. So something very mad would happen right now, and I will just make it full screen. Yeah. For 3 seconds we had this animation where both of the pages went to the right, and this is where, if you can go back, and I'm sure that this is not working because it has to load first. It is receiving some problem to load, and I will just make it some other page that loads faster. And this is happening because we are still changing the address where this page is loaded or getting this data from. But as you can see, everything is going to the right. Both the pages are coming from the right. But why? Because I have said that whenever there is a view transition, and I think this is the very stamp in YouTube where you can actually understand why view transition, because earlier I believe that it wasn't as explanatory as I wanted it to be. So vt index.css says that there is a view transition with navigation auto, and there is some navigation that will happen that will have view transition effect, which has a class of slide to right, means everything can go to the right. It can go from a 0 to 100 vw outside of the viewport on the right side, and this will apply to both my old and my new pages. It means the old page and the new page, and what, which is the old page, which is the old which is the new page. This was the very, from the very beginning, my issue. Like I wasn't able to understand, yeah, both the pages are going to the right, this is understandable. And on the other hand, and if I were to just showcase that, yeah, this is a different animation and that is a different, I will just translate y here. And right now obviously it doesn't work on the go. I have to remove any previous, and I could have made something like a temporary view transition that deletes on its own by making a helper function there and using it in both the pages. I could have done that, but right now, just to keep it simple, I want only css, and once my transition is done, I'm not touching it. So anything that is stored anyhow, it's okay for me. So right now if I do it, okay, if I go back, it should move both the pages, and opacity is 0, so you should be able to see both the pages uh, intersecting each other. If it was opacity 1, you could have just saw one page going. This is where I'm saying both my old and my new page would be animating, not from right, obviously the meaning has changed, from 100 to, so up to down, right? uh, Not what I thought it should look like, but yeah, why? Okay, now it is, and now it's not. So I'm on my index page, and now I'm going back, and when I'm going back, my index.css is making the view transition, right? And okay, makes that my index.css is going there, and yeah, and if I click here, okay, if I click here, then both the pages are coming to the top. What it means that app.html, yeah, now we are on the right track. Now when we are going from my main page, I am on my main page, to my app.html. My app.html is vt app, which says that move everything from a 100 vw to a 0. 100 vw in the y means down, under, to up. Make it vertically move. And just so I understand it right, what I am doing, I usually, if the class name says something else, it usually makes bit inaccurate for me, and I just don't like it. The naming must be right? Yeah. So now my app.html is saying move everything from down to up, slide from down, slide from down. And right now I will just use this navigation to see that both the pages are going from down to up. And this is something that made me think that, yeah, my app.html is live, my view transition auto is working, my slide from down is working on both the pages. Both the pages means both my old and new pages. My issue was always unable to understand which is the old page and which is the new page whenever I'm doing this. Other than that, everything was clear in my head, and this is where I got my problem. Yeah, I want to animate both, so I can just see that both of them are doing this, and then I will just remove one of the animation by setting it to animation none, to understand which of them is called the newer page. And if I believe that, if I, in this particular scenario, I just want my older page, I mean, this is the older page. For now I know this is the older page, and this is my newer page that is coming. So I want my older page to not animate and stay in its place. And if I do this to none, I hope that we can see that effect, and we can understand view transition a lot better than how it was before watching this video. That should be the aim. And let me just, yeah, I have removed everything. Let me just go back. this page has loaded, this page has loaded, this page goes, because index.html has the view transition for both of them to go this way. And now the, yeah, this is what I was talking about. So now I can see my page that is going from down to up, going from down to up, like the way that, and yeah, this is good. This is able to give me understanding that yeah, these are the only two css files that I need in all of my previous code, without changing anything, without having to make any view transition name, and I can just make a very simple animation without reflecting a lot on my code, changing a lot of my code base. And this is what I really loved about view transition. And yeah, this, but there was another thing. If I remove the opacity for both of them, and I will do that, and now if I try this, so it should not be it should be opaque, right, at all times. It should not become bit transparent to opaque, something like that. It should not happen, right? And this goes the way that it was. I will be taking a look, and this comes right from under. This is good, this is good, but I will tell you one thing, that this is good because there is no need of z index, because the app.html comes right on top of it. And this is why we get this animation. This was bugging me a lot, because this does not happen, or the z index does not work this way when we go back to the index, which kind of makes sense. uh, and which is why I was unable to see some of my slide from left transitions. Like when I was clicking this, I wasn't able to see the thing coming from or doing that animation, so, or going away in that particular thing, because there was no z indexing, and it showed me the app.html page at all times. And let's take a look what I mean. So I will be just removing uh, this slide from down, and I will just make it slide from right. I will be just making it X, and slide from right should be reflecting here. So it should come from the right towards the left. That should be the goal for the app.html page. And I believe you will have to practice it to understand how it is doing, what it is doing, in the way it is doing. You will have to practice it, and now it comes the right way. Yeah. So, and it should go back in the same way, and not both the pages, right? So let's think for a while. Which is our old page and which is our new page? So the old page is the app.html, right? So all the animations must be there, and the new page is the one that we are seeing right now. So new page means the page that we have put the css on, the main index page, which is coming. So I believe the new must be something like current, and this must be old. So this was bugging me, but it is not very bad, right? So new is your current in context, and this is your old page. Like, from where are you coming? From where are you coming? And you already know this is to remove the mixed blend mode multiply, right? So now I don't want animation on my current page. I want animation on the page it is coming from. I want to delete any history that is making pseudo elements, and I think like that it is giving. Okay, so this is good. And if I go, it didn't animate, right? Or at least I think it didn't animate, right? Which bugged me a lot. This is the part where I was unable to think that why is it not sliding to the right? Why is my page yeah, going this way, but when I hit back, it is not animating. Like, it does capture the thing when I go here, but it does not when I come back. And this is where I was thinking about z indexes. So the issue is because whatever is happening, it is something we are not able to see. So I will just make sure we can now see it by making o- too opaque, not opaque. Yeah, and I will be just making this code here without the transform, just the opacity. Yeah, adding it to this, like too opaque. And as you already know, I have made the timer bit larger, and I will just make it to 5 seconds from 3, so you can just understand and capture everything that you are seeing. So uh, this page says anything can slide from the right towards me, and this is when we go to the app page. When we go from index.html, this is the index.html to my other page, and I will just delete any history to remove any signs of any previous animations. And then this is a loading issue that happens, and if I go back, and now you can see that the page went that way. The page went that way, but you could only see it here because I'm sliding to the right. And yeah, and for the app.css, you could see the reverse, like uh, this is good and this is good. So let's take a moment to understand. I'm on my index.html page. I'm going or navigating forward. When I'm navigating forward, this is the css that is working. So let's take a side by side comparison and understand. So if I go forward, this is coming because slide from right, and slide from right says that come towards me from a 100 vw outside the viewport towards me to 0 to show up in the screen. Show up something like, yeah, from outside show up. And which is why we have this remarkable animation to the app.html, and we are able to make it appear. So this is good, this is good. And now I will come back here, and if I go to the index.html page, this is the one that is making the view transition, and it says go there, it says slide to right, but it never said that what the index page should do. So I have made the index page, yeah, turn opaque from transparent, which is where you were able to see the animation of this particular index.html. So let me just explain what will happen if it is not turning opaque, if it is all opaque without the animations. And I will just make this back to a 1.2 seconds, which was from showcasing the animation to what the actual thing would look like. Remove any previous, yeah, and come back here. I'm here, and it didn't animate. It did now with 1.2 seconds. Good. It didn't animate here. Two things. First, it didn't animate because, as I was saying, the index.html page is on the top, but it's not true for the index.html page is on the top, but it is not true for the page that is sliding to my right, which is your app.html, which is why you are not able to see the animation. If I just make it the index one, let's try it. And if I remove this too opaque because it doesn't exist, then it should give my old page, which is the page that we are coming from, and the current pages are index.html. So the old page is app.html, and the slide to right should be activated with the z index. So it should show the app instead of like not showing it. which is where everything just fall in the right place for me to understand view transitions when I was trying it the first time. And this is why I did the same VT index classes, and I wanted to just showcase that. uh, and it goes back, it goes back, and it goes back. Yeah, so now it is working. It is this Z index that is doing all the magic for the other page. Sometimes you may think that why is my CSS transitions not working, and it could be due to the vendor, but it could be that you are missing up a Z index, and that is not, that is causing every trouble. And this is good. So yeah, 0.4 seconds and 0.4 seconds. One last time, let's see both of these pages going to those right side outside the viewport and coming from that. So let's see one last time this animating, and let's see it in the PWA. So my PWA is here. I'm just making it full screen. Good. It animates the way that I wanted it to. It goes back. One problem. Yeah, now it's good. So sometimes it is just loading, but yeah, this is good. So now my pages are done, my view transitions are done. I hope that this helped you learn or understand how this view transition is working